Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. Happy New Year. Hey, this is the first time I'm seeing Michael Rudnin in the chat since we've been back from our holiday hiatus. So welcome aboard, El Senor Michael Rudnin. Welcome aboard, our beautiful Bridge MCP. Welcome aboard, Paul Fleming, my brother from Atlanta. Welcome aboard. Who else is in the house? We also have I see I'm scrolling down, guys. Forgive me. All right. Michael says Facebook is going the way of Twitter. I am glad to have dropped Facebook years ago. I'm going to talk about that. The last 17 consecutive months have been over 1.5 C global warming, and 2024 was the first full year to see 1.5 C temperatures. This comes 3 years ahead of schedule. Madre mía, ¿qué estamos haciendo con nuestra planeta, nuestra planeta. Anyway, that is so true, guys. That is so true. Anyway, what are we going to talk about today? We have several issues. Let me bring up, I think I posted it at Daily Coast. Bear with me as I pull it up. The stories that we're covering today, very important. Zuck is with Musk. Yes, he is. Billionaires, they're looking out for billionaire interests, and we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. But anyhow, title of the show today is Trump Threatens Panama, the country of my birth, where my people are from. He threatens Panama. Why workers voted for the felon. That is the story that I'm going to carry from Leopold. Very good story. I love it. Also, Facebook will promote lies and medical debt. But you know what? Let's start with medical debt, because I think this is important. As it winds down, as the time winds down, and our brother Biden is leaving office, guess what has occurred? They finally are finalizing the rule that no longer is your credit report going to be damaged by your not being able to pay your medical bill, something that is long overdue. So we have fact sheet. Vice President Harris announces final rule removing medical debt from all credit reports. Today's final rule will remove $49 billion in unpaid medical bills from the credit reports of 15 million Americans. In addition, the vice president is announcing that states and localities have already eliminated over $1 billion in medical debt thanks to Biden-Harris administration support. Today, Vice President Harris announced a final rule by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And folks, remember I said Trump is coming into office. Let me get this off the screen for a minute because I got something I want to say here. Trump is coming into office, and what this means to a lot of people is they're scared. They believe that all these protections that came under Biden is going to go away. This consumer protection, he cannot do get rid of the Consumer Protection Agency with a pen. He can't make that sort of what do you call that again? A executive order. So we have to hold the Senate to that 6-to vote. Make sure that they can't pass any of this stuff under reconciliation, right? Reconciliation is where you only need 51 votes in the Senate to pass any bill. Of course, that is if there's 100 senators voting. Okay? We still have the power to stop these things. This rule isn't a democratic rule. This is something that's going to allow, as it says, further, Vice President Harris announced that the states and localities have leveraged American Rescue Plan funds to support the elimination of over $1 billion in medical bills for more than 700,000 Americans. Think about that, right? Already they're ripped off by the healthcare industrial complex. Well, they're given some support. I think what we needed to do was cancel them in the first, cancel these insurance companies, cancel these medical companies that are nothing more than thieves. But since we can't do that offhand, giving people relief is what's necessary. None of this is going to occur under Donald Trump. So what we're getting now is you better love it, because you're not getting any. The middle class and the lower classes are getting absolutely nothing in the next 4 years. Oh, wait a minute. They are going to get something. They will be getting tax cuts. Enjoy your 25 cents. Enjoy your $10 or $15 or $20 a month that the lower classes are going to get if this bill goes through. But at the same time, enjoy that whatever they give you in tax cuts, whatever they give the middle class in tax cuts, will be eaten up by the inflation created by the, what again? Increase in the amount we are going to pay for the debt to pay for that, an increase in the amount of the value of goods we're going to pay because of the tariffs. So they're going to give you a little bit to take it all away, plus more. So whatever we're getting out of the Kamala Harris Biden presidency right now, the Biden Kamala Harris presidency, is all you're going to get. And the good thing right now is the bills that you owe for medical stuff won't be going on your credit report, which means you can still buy a house, you can still get credit cards, etc., because none of those bills are going to show up. Welcome aboard, Eric Hayes. Welcome aboard, May Wood. Welcome aboard. Let's see who else do we have in the house that just walked in. E2247, great to hear from you. I haven't seen you in a while either. And if I missed anybody, just throw yourself in at the bottom and a new chat message, and I'll call you out. So as it turns out, folks, do remember, elections matter. As I mentioned this morning, elections matter. Let's see if we have somebody here. All right. This may I help you? Okay. I guess not. Anyhow, folks, so as it turns out, that is about all you're going to get in this next 10 days. No more support for the middle class. No more support for the working class. No more support for the poor. What do they have planned? Well, they have already told you what they have planned. Musk says there will be some pain. He told you that before the election, but you still voted for Musk, right? You're not voting for Trump. Trump is a dummy. You voted for Musk and all the billionaires that supports him. All right? He told you there would be pain. So he wanted to prepare you that when you feel the pain, you don't go too hard on Trump. But there doesn't need to be pain. Why would there be pain if you are giving away so much in tax cut to people who didn't earn it, who didn't deserve it, and who are parasites? Why would you be giving tax cuts, our hard-earned dollars, to the parasites? But that's what you're doing. So, again, buyer's remorse. I am pretty sure after the first 6 months, buyer's remorse will be inculcated just fine in a lot of people who voted based on their own prejudices for Donald Trump. Because do remember that when people took the name Kamala Harris off and the name Donald Trump off and presented Americans, regular red-blooded Americans with the policies each of them supported, Most Americans said they wanted the policies that Harris said she would provide. But when you attach the names, America still voted for Donald Trump. Now I'm going to I'm going to read a piece from Leopold in a minute, who talks about the working class being screwed by Democrats and Republicans alike, which is true. But I think we have to acknowledge some truths before we go into solutions. And the truth is, as bad as the Democrats are, they're, for the working class and the lower classes, they still provide more in benefits than does the Republicans. And Americans know that. How do we know that they know that? They told us that when they said they preferred Kamala Harris's policies, when they didn't know these were Kamala Harris policies. But when they went into the voting booth and they had that gut feeling, they picked the felon. They picked the guy who hold on to women's crutches. They picked the guy who rapes. They picked the guy who's a thief. And the only logical thing that could make you come to that is that their prejudices superseded their own well-being. Their prejudices superseded their own well-being. 49.1 or 49 point whatever percentage of Americans, less than half, but enough for him to win, could not give in to their prejudices, whether they be gender, sexism, or racial. And I think it's a combination of them both. And because of that, we've always spoken about our prejudices being our Achilles heel. And because of that, those of you who were prejudiced enough to vote for Trump, you have changed world history. You have changed the history of the world. Okay? So let's be clear here. It is imperative that those of you that made that mistake and can be sufficiently honest with yourselves, you don't have to tell me, you don't have to tell anybody, but if you are honest with yourself and you go out there and become the resistance to any bad policy that Donald Trump decides to try to effectuate, that is your job. That is your obligation, not for me, not for Bridge MCP, not for Stryland Burke King, not for Joe, not for Michael Rudnin. We did the right thing. That is for your own family, because you screwed your family. You had completely screwed your family. In fact, many of you will cause the death of many in your family based on the policies that Donald Trump says he intends to put out. Hooray. But you know, it's not only that we have to worry about. I migrate now to our next topic. And this has to do with international relationship by you electing a wannabe Führer, by you electing somebody who has no international experience, who knows nothing about international relations. What have you done? We have now said, hey, Donald Trump. Donald Trump says he won't rule out using military action against Panama because supposedly Panama is charging them too much for using the canal, and also because China has some control over ports on both sides of the canal. So says Donald Trump. And in the process, Donald Trump also said that 28,000 of our people died building the canal. Wrong, wrong, and wrong. Let's get a little bit of history. I gave you guys some Panama history a few weeks ago, but let me tell you something. When Donald Trump speaks about oh my God, a lot of Americans died building the canal. A lot of our people died building the canal. None of Donald Trump's people died building the canal. When the canal was built, first of all, the Lesseps attempted a sea level canal in Colombia. Panama was a province of Colombia. When the Lesseps from France failed, they made a deal. Panama and not Panama. Some United States was told that they couldn't build a canal. Colombia would not allow it, so they allowed the independence of this province called Panama. Panama used to be an independent country back in 18 something. Then it joined Gran Colombia, which made it a part of the big United States of Colombia, if you will. And then they created a reason for Panama to get its independence from Colombia, and then immediately signed a treaty. Okay? And brought in people from the Caribbean, meaning Trinidad, Barbados, Jamaica, all these people, my people from the Caribbean. We went into Panama for jobs, yes, working for the Americans, our people, went in there and we dug that canal. We built that canal. We died for that canal. A few Americans here and there died, a few engineers got malaria or yellow fever. But by then, Gorgas had eliminated yellow fever. Malaria was still there, but malaria is something that most people recovered from. But it's my people, the Caribbean. We built the canal. We died. And it wasn't 28,000. It was about 6,000 Panamanians died building the canal. Now, after several intents, okay, it turns out we got the canal built. And for the longest time, America instituted a state of apartheid in what's known as the Canal Zone. We were living in a state of apartheid in the Canal Zone. My father, his father, etc., the state of apartheid in Panama. And we fought and we fought and we fought and we fought to get rid of that state of apartheid. And it started with my class, actually. That was the first one to get the same benefits that Americans got on the Canal Zone. My class was the first graduating class. Roberto's class, the one right before me, got the first 6 months. We got the whole thing. But we fought it off and got the treaty, the Panama Canal Treaty, that was effectuated in 1999, midnight, December 31st. And at that point, the Panama Canal was turned over to Panama from the United States, and all controls and directives from the canal went to Panama, as it should have been. It is land that belongs to Panama. Yes, the United States built the canal, but they profited and they made their monies way over what they needed to make for that canal. And it's now, again, sovereign territory returned. What does Brother Trump want to do? Brother Trump wants to come into Panama and bully himself. I am going to look at those degenerate Panamanians and I'm going to tell them how they are going to manage that canal and what I'll do with that canal. That's what we're talking about here, folks. That is what we're talking about. De eso es lo que estamos hablando. So, by our brothers and sisters elected a thug in chief, a felon in chief, a criminal in chief, a women crotch grabber in chief, you have destabilized the world, both in Panama, Canada, that he now wants to make a state, Greenland, that he wants to take away from Denmark, claiming that he doesn't even know if Greenland belongs to Denmark. But we always knew who this guy was. We always knew he wanted to be an authoritarian. He revered Hitler. Remember, he had Mein Kampf next to him that he read according to one of his wives. He was a reader of Mein Kampf. So now he's talking about doing in American hemisphere what Adolf Hitler tried to do in the what hemisphere again? In the European hemisphere. He's talking about Canada, he's talking about Panama, he's talking about all these different places. So beware, beware. That's what electing Trump did. All right, let's go. Breach MCP. Good afternoon, Breach MCP. How art thou doing?
I art good. Today is my birthday. You do not have to sing.
Oh wait, no, no, no. You don't get you don't have the right to say that. So hold on a second. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Breach MCP. Happy birthday, dear Breach. Happy birthday to one of the leaders of what again? The PDR Posse.
PDR Posse.
How you doing, sis? Talk to me.
I'm well. I didn't mean to interrupt you. What do I keep hearing? AI is recording.
I just had to disable it. I've got to fix it. They upgraded the software, and anytime somebody calls in, AI starts to transcribe the conversation. So I just turned it off. I want to find a permanent turn off, but go ahead.
I just wanted to ask. I didn't mean to interrupt you because you were on a roll there, on a good roll. And I posted the question, but you probably didn't see it. I wanted to know why I keep reading about that they want the Panama Canal back because the Panama Canal won't let Russian ships go through it. Is that correct?
Okay, I didn't that part I didn't hear. I didn't hear about the Russian ship part, but now that you mentioned that, I'm going to look it up. I can't believe that because first of all, I don't know or I can't understand for the war that we're having in Ukraine or for what Russia wants to do, why Russia would need to go through the Panama Canal. I'm thinking geography right now, right? And I don't see a reason for Russia to want to go through the canal when they actually have a pathway through the Mediterranean from the Baltic Sea all the way into the Atlantic Ocean. For the Atlantic seaboard, if they want to get there, it seems like a roundabout way for them to come through the Pacific, but I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't understand that myself. I understand Greenland because of the cobalt they have there, and the tech industry wants it.
There you go.
I understand that part. Don Jr. is there, and I understand that. But I mean, didn't we after Hitler have the not only NATO but the UN, and that we all have sovereign nations?
Oh
You just can't go in and just take them. What the hell is he talking about? Greenland, Panama,
and Canada.
What are you talking about?
Canada, and he even brought up Mexico today. So I mean, what he's talking about is creating these. I think what he's trying to do is bully these guys into financial structures, right? Maybe not to have alliances with others, etc. But what we look, I am an American. You're an American. We look out for the interests of America. But here's the deal, Breach. We cannot allow this thug to make us the pariah of the world. I mean, if people always talk about they attack us because they hate our freedom. They don't attack us because they hate our freedom, Breach MCP. They attack us because we go into other places and bully them and kill them, etc. I've told you all the story of Panama and Bush's invasion many times over. But over and over and over again, Now, nobody has been this obvious as Donald Trump was. I mean, when Bush was doing his thing, he was doing it undercover. When Obama was doing his thing, he was doing it undercover. When Obama was kind of holding back Venezuela, he was doing it undercover. But my God, Trump is bold. Trump is like, oh, Panama, you guys gonna do what we say, or we're gonna invade you. Hey, Canada, maybe we'll try to get your people to vote on being the 51st state. Greenland, hey, we're gonna take Greenland. We don't even know if Denmark really has the right to own Greenland. It's crazy.
It's nuts. I mean, I can't believe. And now the Gulf of Mexico is going to be called the Gulf of America. What is he mad at the president because she stood up to him? Like,
You know,
I
I
think
love.
that
I
since Musk, I was going to say,
Go
I think
ahead.
that since Musk is renting a cottage at 20,000 a month or something on his property, like 20 feet from his first front door, and Trump is
Mm-hmm.
definitely not happy with this, and who knows who's paying for what. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that Musk is just in his ear 24/7, driving him nuts. He hasn't got far to go, but driving him nuts, and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He never did. But now he's got Musk there telling him all this apartheid, racist, bigoted shit.
Yep.
And Musk is with Putin. I mean, they all got deals going on here. And that's what it's all about. And everybody else in America, the ignorant people that we are here, have no idea what they're.
But
They
you
have
know,
no clue.
Breach, it's even deeper. Do you see what Musk is doing with the European Union and with England and the right?
Oh yeah,
It's
oh yeah. He's
let me
trying to
tell
get
you,
even.
I
I
understand
was going to
this,
say
folks.
the far right guy in England. I forget his name. He rejected him.
Yeah,
Even he rejected him.
yes.
I mean, he's like, no, well, I'm not doing that. So I
But the
mean,
scary thing about it is this, Breach. These guys have billions, right? So they have billions to go ahead and put it all over the place. And in places like Great Britain, they have all kind of election laws that don't allow you to give money to candidates or whatever. But that doesn't stop Elon Musk from paying for votes. And again, England is a small country compared to the United States by voting population. It doesn't stop Elon Musk for using the. Remember, he made over $100 billion since Trump got into. I mean, since Trump got elected,
yeah.
doesn't stop him from being able to go ahead and throw a whole lot of money into paying people off to vote, and that's not difficult to do, right? You go in the streets and say, "Hey, I give you £100, go vote. Vote this way." And by the way, we can figure out how
Right.
you voted because again, the problem with people is that they have the same problem in London as you have in America, and that is we have gotten lazy. We don't read anymore. We believe in bread and circus. Bread and circus really mean, you know what bread and circus is, right? We keep the population
Yes.
fed and entertained. If you keep a population fed with cheap food and entertained with just sleazy stuff, you don't have anything to worry about. You can take over the country if you will. And now we have
Well, that's why
Jerry.
the
Go ahead.
go. No, you may be saying what I'm going to say. That woman that wants to be hired. She was the wrestling woman.
Right.
I don't know what her
The
name is.
WWE,
Well,
the
her whole
WWE
thing was,
woman.
yeah, she changed the whole way that thing was. Because in the beginning, people thought it was real, and then she turned it into entertainment, so it wasn't real. And that actually entertained the people even more because they wasn't
Yeah.
sure if it was real or not real. And that's how she plans to do things. I mean,
Look,
who thinks of this stuff?
let
It's
me tell you
unbelievable. I
something.
mean, they have think tanks doing this. It's unbelievable.
Yes, there are think tanks that are figuring out people and look, let me tell you this, Breach. One of the things that I do, and I told my KPFT program either this morning or yesterday morning, one of the things that we have to do now, right, is we've lost Facebook, Twitter, etc. I want to talk about Facebook in a little bit, but we've lost them. We have lost them as the real way that we can get to our people. So, but you know what still works? The radio still works. It's just that they have the radio saturated. The right wing
Oh
has
yeah.
AM and FM saturated. Well, guess what, Breach? I got me a little spot on air on the radio. I have 5 stations nationally that I can speak through. WBAI in New York, WPFW in Washington D.C., KPFK in Berkeley, and KPRK in LA, and KPFT in Houston, and all those other affiliates. We haven't
Wow.
completely got it done yet as far as being able to get politics done right in a perfect distribution form, but that is one of my goals for this year. That as a former board member, I can now go ahead. Well, it doesn't require me to have been a board member, but I can actually find a way to get on all these stations. But here is the other thing, sis. We have no funding. No funding.
Right.
They have funding, right? So what we're doing is with our lit, I am trying to build up with a whole lot of other folks doing the sort of stuff that we're doing here to be that voice. Because again, we can't, the Facebook messages, we are going to be throttled. If you take a look at what they're doing to YouTube and all these things, they're throttling us. In other words, they're not allowing us to show up in people's feeds, right? The AI
Oh,
algorithms
that's
are
happening.
there.
That's happening everywhere.
Yes,
Even Heather Cox Richardson, who is
yes.
wonderful. I
She's
mean,
great.
she couldn't get on it. She was asking everybody for help. So I was telling her about what happened with you and how you got Substack to work, and because she
Hmm.
does Substack too, and
She
she said
just
they're
actually
throttling. I said it's
recently.
called throttling.
Let me tell you what I've told folks to do. First of all, that's why we tell folks, if you're listening to us, whether on Substack or Instagram, because we're in all of them. But the problem is this: I am and all our listeners. This is for you to be a part of sharing the information here. We are streaming right now on Twitch, YouTube, Substack, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. I mean, Instagram, TikTok, and all of them. Right now, I am I am making sure to pay to multi-stream what we're talking about right now. So that's one avenue. But we on every network that I just told you, they can throttle us like no other because Facebook owns whom again? Instagram, YouTube.
Uh-huh.
They're all tied in together, and these billionaires are. If you say something that could mess with their tax cut, the AI algorithm is going to hit you. But here's what the AI
Yep.
algorithm can't hit about, and this is why I am so fond of Substack and Mailchimp. I and others like me, and also should be you as well, and others, we are building our own mailing list, right? If I'm sending direct to direct communication, I can send you an email. The AI has to decide, well, they're not going to stop your email because at that point it is obvious. So I have the thousands of people that I send emails to, right? And the expectation is that all of us should start, and I'm talking to all of you that are producing stuff, folks, those of you that are producing content, etc. Make sure as you're producing content on all these different networks, build your mailing list of people that continuously have trust in you and that come to you, that you can send them your daily newsletter or anything of that sort. They won't read it every day. You can't expect that. But they'll get a catchphrase that turn them on at different times and they'll read your stuff. That is the only option we have when AI is controlling what to put out there. And the
That's
good thing
horrible.
about it is horrible, but it's what we have to do, right? And the other thing is when people
Does Blue
like,
Sky?
mhm, go ahead.
I was going to ask, does Blue Sky allow you to put your stuff up?
Well, here's what I do on Blue Sky. I'm actually and Michael Rudnin. I need to automate it, but Michael Rudnin reminds me every day as I start the program to put it on Blue Sky
I
because
know.
I
I
have to do
see it.
that. I have to do that manually. So I tell you, the PDR posse is just the best. You guys are simply the best, right? So Michael Rudden will be, Egberto, you got to put it on Blue Sky. It's like, yes, sir, it's on Blue Sky. But here's the deal. We all have to share each other's stuff, progressive stuff, because what they're doing to us right now. And when I say us, I'm not only talking about progressive, I'm talking about the middle class, I'm talking about the working class, even those who don't know they're being screwed. Eric Hayes doesn't know that this new administration is going to screw him, right? He doesn't know that.
I
So
know,
he's
and I
still talking
can't
a
wait.
lot.
I can't wait.
He doesn't realize it. And we have our good friend here. I love all my peeps. Billy Allison Irwin, how you doing, sis? I haven't seen you in a while. Great to be. Lee Grant, love Lee Grant. But Lee Grant doesn't realize that this guy's screwing him. But he's still here. Allison Dreams, how you doing, beautiful? Great to have you here. Yvette Avery Herod, our beauty from Atlanta. How you doing, sis? Look, Bridge, but we are doing the right thing here. We are keeping the channels open. And as long as you know what geometric progression is, right? Or I should say exponential
Yes.
and so I mean that's what we're doing here. The
Yeah.
idea the idea being, if I have 1,000 people that I send something out to, and each of those 1,000 people send it out to 10, the multiplicative effect reaches the entire country in like 16 levels or something like that. So I mean, the idea is to keep it going. But anyway, anything else, my dear sister, before I move on to the next
No,
subject?
that was it. I share your stuff in the group I manage. We got like 38,000 people. So I share your stuff whenever I can get a short clip, individual clip,
I
and put it
I
up there all the
appreciate
time.
that. I appreciate that. And
But yeah,
folks,
that's all I
you
wanted to
see,
ask was about that.
hey, don't
All
forget,
right.
do
Thank you
what
for
Breach is
singing.
doing. Thank you, sis. Have a good one, and happy birthday, Miss.
Thank you,
Well,
guys.
how I know you're only 29 years old, so you stay 29, all right?
Yeah, that's what I am. Minus 30 or 40 or something. Yeah.
All right, sis. Have a good
Okay,
one.
guys. Thank you.
Anyway,
Okay.
folks, look, continuing with the program, here we go. The next subject is, guess what, people? Guess what? Facebook, as Bridge we were talking about Facebook. Facebook is no longer going to fact check stuff. So, whenever you put lies that are verifiable out there, Facebook would go ahead and tell you, no, this is what the truth is. They don't necessarily take your message down, but they go ahead and tell what the truth is. I think with AI out there, a trained AI, I mean, there's no excuse anymore, right? No excuse anymore. When you had to use people to do all of this, you could see it. But we have AI now. AI can be used to find lies instantaneously. And if AI makes a mistake because it was trained incorrectly, you can actually fix the AI by having a report mechanism that AI looks into and actually starts to work on reports and verification and validation. AI can do it now. We can do it. But you understand what's happening in America right now. They want to keep you dumb. So Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, none of them want the responsibility of fact checking, because these platforms present a great teaching mechanism. Think about this. Your Gen Z folks are always on their phones. Imagine if the information on their phone was guaranteed to be truthful. 90%, 95% truthful. Think about it. We are wedded to our phones. We're wedded to our instruments. We have AI technology that is now good enough to discern a truth from a lie. So Facebook can implement this, Twitter can implement this, Instagram can implement this, all of them can implement this, right? And they got the truth. But do you think the powers that be want you to have the truth? No, they want plausible deniability and plausible ability to lie. Because if they need to lie to the American people so that they can get a particular policy passed. That's what they want to happen. Barring having an autocracy or barring having a completely subjugated population, making the population have the semblance of democracy is actually what they want. So, what we have here is the possibility, if we wanted to, for the truth. But Facebook said they have no part, they want to have no part in validating their stuff. In a move that some viewed as a means of currying favor with the incoming Trump administration, meaning lying on command, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg announced in a video Tuesday that the company is moving to end its third party fact checking program. Instead, the company will use a community notes approach inspired by the Elon Musk platform X, where Musk's misleading claims about the 2024 presidential company racked up billions of views. Zuckerberg's announcement was accompanied by a post authored by Meta's new Trump friendly Chief Global Affairs Officer, Joel Kaplan, who described the change as more speech and fewer mistakes. Kaplan also went on Fox and Friends on Tuesday morning to discuss the update. Too much harmless content gets censored. Too many people find themselves wrongly locked up in Facebook jail, and we are often too slow to respond when they do, wrote Kaplan in his post. Kaplan and Zuckerberg also noted that Meta plans to phase back in more civic content, as in posts about elections, politics, and social issues. Real Facebook Oversight's board, a group established to counter the perceived failures of Meta's own oversight board, blasted the move, saying censorship is a manufactured crisis, political pandering to signal that Meta's platform are open for business to far-right propaganda. Folks, it is just beginning. The takeover of your mind is near complete for those who have these things censored in their minds. The article that I was just reading, you can actually find it at commondreams.org. I like that particular rag. It's titled Facebook Follows X Down Path to Becoming Right-Wing Cesspool by Ending Fact-Checking Efforts. Folks, we've got to do better. We have got to do better. Michael says, Egberto, have you seen the results from Google AI when you do searches? A lot of times, those results are just wrong. It's because the AI trained on the whole internet rather than just known reputable sources, and the whole of the internet probably has more lies than truth in it. Again, let me just qualify that. You're correct about that. If you're using a model that doesn't base its analysis on truthful sources, that would be true, or that is true. Let me correct myself. But if you are going to have a fact-checking system, you are going to base it on data. And let me give an example, Michael. You could have the base model only use sources that are reputable, the base model. And let's say they did a scan on Panama's independence, and enough information didn't show for the model to make a decision. The model could then use an expanded model that include the entire internet and point out when it gives its results that this is what we found outside of our reliable sources. So take this with a grain of salt. I mean, there are a lot of look. I'm a computer programmer. I am not an AI specialist, but I understand how computers work and their abilities to say we'll start with this database and then we'll move on to another algorithm for things that we don't have a good show on. Good afternoon, Joe. Welcome aboard. Great to see our friend from LA. And Vid Jovi Fanole says, Hola a ti, mi nombre es Elena Méndez. Sufro de una enfermedad que me ha dedicado a la muerte, cáncer de garganta. Quiero donar 150 euros a una persona seria. Wow, we got somebody in here that's nothing but a bot that says I have throat cancer and I want to donate 750,000 euros. Do people fall for this crap? Tell me, do people fall for this crap? Apparently, some must do. They keep doing it. Let's see who else we got here. Let's see who we got there. Michael Ryan said, I'm not gonna be happy when Trump screws over the people. The people that includes conservatives, those conservatives won't learn until personally experiencing the harm. And that is, they've done some tests on conservative mental. Those people that are predisposed to be conservatives, they did do some checks, right? They do mind checks on people. And what they found is those folks that tend to be conservatives, they have to feel the pain themselves, or it has to be somebody. In other words, they're fairly, and I say this with respect, but they have more of a selfish streak. In other words, if this affects my daughter, my mother, my sister, then I'll do something about it. If it affects somebody I don't know, to hell with it. As an example, there was a senator from, I think it was a senator from Pennsylvania. His son was gay. He did not support gay policies until he found out his son was gay. So, therefore, before that, to hell with gay people. But after that, he was very, uh, what's the word? He didn't mind talking about gay issues, or he didn't mind passing policies that supported gay folks. So, again, that is where we're at. Joe says Google AI, which I don't use nonetheless, it locked me out of 20-year email, voice, and drive account. I was even a beta tester, no remedy available. They're still charging me for drive. Oh, I think you need to investigate that. The only thing that usually happens there is they are unable to prove, assuming that they still have the data. A lot of that happens when they are unable to prove verifiably your identity. So, if you want to drop me an email on the back end of that, I can give you some suggestions. If you send me an email that says this is what Google tells me when I try to recover, I think Google is guilty of theft. My files, all of it, no person available. I had friends who used to work there. They couldn't help. They said there's nobody there anymore. Yeah, a lot of these things are all automated. But in Google, I usually am able to reach Google as a subscriber. So I don't know. I don't know. Anyhow, let's continue. Last item on the list today is um let's see. Are you still wondering why workers voted for Trump? This is an article worth reading by Les Leopold. I'm going to put the link. Well, the link is actually in the blog for the program. Let me go ahead and put it in there anyway. It's an article worth reading. But what it points out is, oops, can't post messages to some channels. Yeah, that's okay. What it points out here is the following: that Americans have not seen, the middle class have not seen a raise since 1980. When you count inflation, etc., Americans haven't seen a raise through 1980. That means through Reagan, through Bush 1, through Clinton, through Bush 2, through Obama, through Trump, and through Biden, they have not really seen a substantive increase in their wages. I'm talking about the lower classes now. Under Biden, however, what has happened is that most of the increase in wages went to the lower classes. Finally, normally it's really up top, etc. But under Biden, I think if you do some research, you'll see that some of these things occurred under Biden. But what's this all about? And I'm not going to read the article, but he points out that there were 13 billionaires in 1980. Today in the US, today we have 801 billionaires. I want you to think about this. 1980 and 44 years later, you got 800 billionaires. Whose money is that? Where did that money come from? I want you to think hard about that. When I talk to you about the wealthy being mostly parasites, I don't intend that to be a hyperbole. I want you to understand that I am saying that from the depths of my heart and the depths of my intellect. There is nobody that has raised, that have worked, that have made $1 billion. Nobody. Not Bill Gates, not Elon Musk, not Jeff Bezos. None of them have done the work or created the innovation that warrants them having $1 billion. And for those who have never heard me before, hello, Melanie Keelan. For those who have never heard me before, here is why I say this. All of us are dependent on society. The knowledge that all of us have is knowledge that we developed on the knowledge of others within our societal structure. Some of us do more with that knowledge than others, and that's understandable. And those who do more with the knowledge, those who also work more, those who produce more, they deserve to have more. I believe in profit based on your work, based on your worth. What I don't believe in excessive profit based on everybody else's work. A stockbroker produces nothing. All their wealth is based on somebody else's work and worth. Am I saying there shouldn't be stockbrokers or stockbrokers shouldn't be paid well? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it should be a salaried position of somebody who moves paper around to make the management of capital simpler. That doesn't mean becoming a billionaire from just moving paper. If the person who invented a product isn't a billionaire, why the hell would the person who financed and moved stocks for that invention become a billionaire? You have been taught in from the time you were born that somehow being wealthy is something that these people have earned, and that if you have capital and you put your capital at risk, that you deserve that earning. After all, if people would say, well, look, Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos, he put a lot of risk by putting his capital up. True. But then the persons and people who built the dam in the Grand Canyon, they risk something too. And as I see it, they risk something that's a lot more valuable. Their bodies. You know how many people? You remember what even Trump said? You know how many people died building the canal? These were people making pennies on the dollar. You know how many people? And that is still serving us. We are those people that died building the canal. We are still benefiting from their debts. Do their families get a recurring fee for having lost their life building the canal, the way stockbrokers and others get a recurring fee? No, they don't. So when we talk about an economic system that is rigged for a few, that's what we're talking about. A lot of people sacrifice many things to build things. A lot of people sacrifice their lives to build a road in the mountains. They don't get a constancy of payments because of that sacrifice. But that person who sacrifices his wealth or her wealth, they want a constancy on that innovation that they may have invested some of their money in as much as they don't even understand the innovation. We have to get better. We have to have more faith in ourselves. We have to be understanding of who we are and what our worth is. We must understand that we are the ones that are worthy. We are the creators. We are the workers. If we are not there, there ain't no millionaire, billionaire, or any of these guys. These guys can't take care of themselves. You put a stockbroker and a farmer on an island, separate parts of the island, and come back 6 months later. The farmer will be alive and that stockbroker likely dead. Because so who has more worth? I want you guys to start thinking outside of the box, outside of the indoctrination that we have received decade after decade after decade, and start accepting our worth and start ensuring that our works are compensated adequately and that we do not allow the existence of billionaires who are nothing more, even the benevolent billionaires are nothing more than parasites on the economic system because their billions come from the excess work, excess worth that we all provide. All right? Those are the 4 topics, and I got to all 4. Anyway, folks, before I end, you know what I have to do? I got to go ahead and say, folks, please support our platforms. As I've mentioned before, they're after us. And this is not hyperbole. They are after us. They mean it. We are throttled. Our streams are throttled. They're after us. Our only solution is to come directly to you because they control it all. And what I ask is that you support platforms like Politics Done Right, Egberto Off the Record, our newsletter, that you support others as well. Make your choices. Create 10 or I support about 10 different platforms. Little bit because I can't afford much anymore. And I'm asking you to do the same for Egberto Off the Record, our newsletter. And how can you do that? To support us here on Substack, if you go to those of you who are getting our newsletter, please consider becoming a paid subscriber. You are subsidizing all that we do to try to get the information out, to try to be convincing to others. I've just placed it in the link. That is at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter is how you can subscribe to our Substack, our newsletter. We don't have a lot of subscribers right now. We're building slowly, but we're building. But we need a couple thousand, to be honest with you. We only have 10% of, a little over 10% of that, actually 15% of that, I believe. And, but we need a lot of subscribers to make this viable. Right now, this is a 16-hour a day venture, 7 days a week. Talk to my wife about it; she'll tell you. Even over the holiday period, we I think I took 2 days, not off, but 2 days that we actually went out and did something. But it's something that we have to get done, and people, we need to get this done. So I ask you kindly again to please support our platform. Again, the best way to support the platform is by subscribing to our newsletter on Substack. Another way to support our platform, of course, is to go to politicsdoneright.com/support. politicsdoneright.com/support, and that gives you all the different ways in which you can support us. But again, I am trying to build up our newsletter network. So please subscribe, become a paid subscriber to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. All right, folks. Remember, if you subscribe to that, you get a chance to read all 5 of my books free of charge on the Substack platform. But guess what else? Any new book that I write, and I have 3 of them that I'm in the process of writing right now, you also get those books. So once again, please go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. And I'm going to put it in there one more time. And I got to get out of here. I got a meeting with, actually, I'm getting an interview with YouTube right now. So I got to go ahead and do that right this minute. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out. Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Welcome to